Today we're going to discuss all of what entails getting into actual contracts and how long it may possibly take you to actually start receiving work. One of the things we need to stop doing is stop comparing ourselves to other people. Other people who you see in this industry. Other people who have already been a field inspector for a minute, or maybe they just started doing field inspections, and as soon as they started, they might have started getting work immediately. So, of course, if you're one who really needs work right now, you need to start making some decent pay. It will be very enticing for you to jump on board and attempt to do exactly what you see the next person doing. The problem is that everybody is not the same. Everybody's environment is not the same. Where everybody lives is not the same. You don't live in the same place I live. I don't live in the same place people on the East Coast live. We all are in different areas. And being that we're in different areas, there may be a possibility that one area has more work than the other. There may be a possibility that that area over there, they may be offering work, but they may not have as much as you think they have, just because they accept your application. Everybody's experience is not the same. But I'm going to tell you what happened with me. When I first started doing field inspections, when I first signed up, it might have took a day or two before I actually heard from someone. And this was before I even bought the book. It took me 2 or 3 days before I heard from someone. And then after I heard from them, they asked me to do a test run on my own place, just to make sure I knew what I was doing. And then after that, I had to do all of the signing of the papers. Once I finished all of the paperwork, it might have still took about a week or so before I started receiving work. When I started receiving work, it might have been 2 or 3 here, maybe 2 or 3 there. Next week, maybe 4. That's not enough to quit a job. That's not enough to say, hey, I've run across this golden nugget that I'm about to cash in, and now I can quit my 9-to-5 job. That is not how this works. So it took me some time to build momentum, okay? And that came also with signing up for several companies, which is why you hear people tell you all the time, sign up for more than one company. And that will answer one of the questions that someone asked me before, should they sign up? Because they've heard people say sign up for several companies. That is one of the main reasons right there. Suppose they do have plenty of insurance companies in your area who needs people to go out and do these inspections. That doesn't mean that that one company that you sign up for, who actually may have accepted you, that doesn't mean that that one company has all of these clients from all of these carriers, if you understand what I'm saying. You see, the carrier is the client for your inspection contract company. That one company that you're signed up for is a good chance they don't have every carrier under their belt. All of these insurance companies are not signed up with that company. So the workload that they have, just because they're accepting your application, does not mean that they have enough work for you and everybody else who they already have. You see, one thing you have to understand is that these companies, they're not looking out for the betterment of you as far as making sure that you can pay all of your bills. So they're not looking at the applications and saying, okay, well, Sally Sue signed up. She said that she can do the work. She claims to be a field inspector. So let me sign her up, and I'm going to make sure that she makes more than enough money during the month to pay her bills and not have to count a dime at the supermarket. Nobody's looking at you that way. What they're looking at is, the more inspectors I have, the more inspections we can get put out. We can get these taken care of. So our clients don't have to be worried about how long it's going to take to get these inspections done. Sure, we have plenty of inspectors, but the more the merrier. So if they're thinking of the more the merrier, all you did was add yourself to a roster full of inspectors. So they may give you work here or there. You may be waiting forever to receive any type of workload. So what are you going to do in the meantime? If you are scrapping for cash, if you have bills that need to be paid, you are going to sign up for more than one company. so that the other company that you sign up for, if that one is not giving you work because they don't have enough work for you, this one over here just may have enough for you to keep yourself afloat. But it's not one of those easy, just jump in and start making money right off the bat. Now, I must say that there are those who I have mentored for sure. And if you need mentorship, who have signed up for companies, and before I can even do my second chat with them, they have already started receiving workload. And they are working fluently right now as I speak. But that doesn't mean it happens for everybody. And there could be a lot of things that play a role into this. Besides it just not being a fly-by-night, one of those Lucky Charm type of deals, I'm just gonna break down just a few things that could play a role in how long it takes you to get work. Okay, so I already mentioned that the company may not have what they say they have. Now, there may be companies that say they're nationwide and they may not have work at all in your area at this moment. That doesn't mean that they won't ever have work, but it still has you on hold, right? All right, so what all have you done? Have you applied for several companies? Have you applied yourself? Because a lot of you are worried about applying for several companies because you don't want to be having to rip and run between all of these different companies. It is not going to be that way. Because once again, you're going to have this one over here that's not going to have work. You're going to have this one over here who may have work, but they are only giving you a little bit. You may have a third company that you sign up for and they start bringing you in a little bit more work that keeps you a little busy, but not just quite enough to make all of your ends meet. And then you may right off the bat decide to sign up for a fourth company, and this fourth company may be the jackpot for you. And that fourth company is now giving you so much work until you forgot about the first one and the second one. So now you can kind of wean them out because there's no need in holding on to them unless you just want to keep them around just in case they decide to throw you a bone here or there. Okay? But ain't no dog and I don't be looking for no bones. So when I got to that point where I knew I had reached my peak, all of the ones I knew I didn't want to deal with, I got rid of. There was no need in that because it would really irritate me when one would show up out of the blue when I have contacted them 2 years ago. All of a sudden I got an email or somebody shoot me a text message like we friends and saying, can I go get this inspection? Not this inspection. No, because my week is full. But you do understand what I'm saying. When the time comes for you to be able to cut companies loose, you'll be able to do so. You can't just go on SoFi website and click the join button and then expect that everybody's finna start rolling in and asking you to do work for them. They don't know you. You may have to wait a couple of days. You may not get anything depending on where you are. See, that's one of the problems too. A lot of you are not willing to accept that this may just not be for you. That's okay. And I am not trying to be rude about it. I'm just being realistic. Some of you live in areas where there is just not work. Okay? And I know this for a fact. You live in areas where there is no work in your area. Okay? You're looking at horses. You're looking at cows. You're looking at long streets and time to the next gas station. And you don't want to travel 30 minutes into the major city to do an inspection. Well, how in the world do you expect you're going to get any inspections done? There's nothing out there where you live. So we need to be realistic about what we're trying to do when it comes to being a field inspector. If you're willing to travel and they're offering it to you and you know you want to do this and you would prefer to do anything than bust your neck every day at a 9 to 5, I suggest you take it. That's the only thing I can say. I suggest that you take it because that's going to be your way out. But you have to apply to more than one company. If you don't want to buy the book, you don't have to buy the book. If you don't want to buy my list, you don't have to get the list. There are YouTube channels all over that are giving away companies. I have videos that do give away some companies. Try those. Go through the videos, they're on the thumbnails, and find you some companies to attempt to sign up for. I don't even think I've even mentioned any company at all on my YouTube channel that did not state to be nationwide. So you can actually do that if you feel the need to, but do something so that you can start making money roll in. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even have to be field inspections. Nothing out here is fly by night. There are some people who just jump in and they have it. What about personality? Oh, see, y'all probably like, what's she talking about? I'm about to tell you. Because see, a lot of companies, and this is the truth, when they call you and they start talking to you over the phone because you have applied for them and you're on the phone dry and barely got nothing to say unless they have a question for you, it may appear to them as though you're not going to do much work. How are you selling yourself? This is very important. You have to be open. You have to be willing to get out here and be ready. And when a person calls you, act as though you are excited about it. Act as though you can't wait to get out here and get this done. Maybe things will change just a little bit for you. Those of you who are new and don't know this, I'm telling you offhand, so when you first start getting those calls, okay, don't answer the phone like you're talking to your auntie, okay? Or a long lost sibling that you could care to talk to. This is an opportunity. And of course, you already know if you need any help, I got you covered. I'm here to mentor you. That's what I do. I can help you get yourself going and give you a few tips and tricks along the way that I probably have not shared on my YouTube channel. So you guys know that it takes dedication. You have to motivate yourself to want to do this. You can't say, I signed up for this company and I signed up for that one and I ain't heard nothing yet. As of yet, they ain't nobody got no work for me. It's hundreds of companies out here. And every commercial, every personal property has to have insurance. Unless they're riding under the table. Most of them are not. And being that they have insurance, that means that they have carriers, which means that someone has to come out to their spaces. So you have to put forth the effort. And if you work a job right now, and you know you want to get out of that job, and field inspection is what you want to do, you need to make it up in your mind that you're going to sign up for as many companies as you can. If you can't find companies, that's what these books are for. When you get to a point where you're overwhelmed, cut some loose. It's that simple. It really is that simple. But you got to get a hold of some that's willing to give you a chance as a new person to even do inspections for them. If you sign up for one or two, and those one or two may not feel like that you even know what you're doing, or they call you and you say, well, no, I ain't never, you know, they may not, come on now. Put time in on finding you some companies. And then sit back and watch, give it time. And when it starts rolling in, if you are working, once again, take that time out after hours. After hours, no more of that. You know, okay, a lot of us, we hate our jobs, okay? We hate our jobs. We don't want to have to deal with the jobs, period. We don't want to deal with them. That's why you guys are looking at me now. But the problem is that when we realize we don't want the job, and we hate getting up in the morning, and we go to work and we're watching the clock all day long until time to get off work. But when we get off, we so glad to get off. We can't wait. We will run over people on the freeway just to get home. But when you get home, outside of dealing with the kids, if you have kids, I know a lot of people have responsibilities. Outside of doing all of this stuff and taking care of all of this stuff, at the end of the day, if you really want to get away from that job, you're going to have to do something else in your off time. You are going to have to do something else. You need to start in the evening. And instead of coming home and flipping your shoes off and throwing them over there on the other side of the room somewhere, you need to be already have put in some appointments, if you can. And if they are giving you some where you can just drive by and get photos, you need to suck it up, get up, and keep rolling. If that's what you have and that's all they are, drive-bys, hell, put them in the car with you. When you go to work, when you get off work, keep rolling and get those inspections done. Be dedicated to it. You have to in order for this to turn into a full-time job. Guys, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on all of you guys' notification bells, because you know I'm be bringing you back something later. I'm wishing the best for each and every one of you. And until I see you again, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.